It is the Friday before my birthday. It's 9:28 p.m. I just walked in the door a few minutes ago, put my baby in her bed, and I have a long night ahead of me. Not only is it Friday before my birthday, it is also the last Friday of my first semester as an MBA student. Tonight, I'm gonna lock in my final studying before my stats exam. I'm also gonna finalize my final project for my writing class, and I'm gonna take the exam in the morning. Hopefully submit the writing assignment tonight. It really shouldn't take me long. And then go on my cruise for my birthday. There's so much I wanna talk to you guys about, but before I get into that, let me go take a shower, get comfortable, and I'll be back. Alright, so I'm out the shower. I am set up to study. I got my computer in front of me. What I do need to complete tonight before I lay down and close my eyes and wake up in the morning is to complete my cheat sheet for my stats exam. So as I mentioned, the end of the term is near, as in it's tomorrow. So I have two more big things I have to do: my stats final exam and my persuasive proposal for my professional writing class. Thankfully, I managed to have a study session with my cohort members last night, a few other girls who I met at orientation who I've kept in contact with, one of which I actually met up with in person because she's local. And it really wasn't until we had those conversations about like the practice problems last night that stuff really started to click for me. I believe I mentioned in another video that like one of the hardest parts about this program is how isolating it is. I've been feeling like big stupid. Like I've been feeling like, wow, you don't know anything. Like you're dumb. Like, and I have to stop talking to myself like that, but that's really how I have felt. But I think it's due in large part to the fact that I've been studying and learning this stuff in isolation. I haven't spoken to another person about it. And so just speaking about it out loud, sitting right here on my laptop, going through the problems, I'm like, oh wait, like it's beginning to click. Like I'm beginning to explain and interpret and understand. So I feel way better after talking to them about that. So I'm gonna make my cheat sheet tonight. I would like to work on my persuasive proposal tonight. Unsure if that's going to happen. I'll check back with you guys when I'm on the cruise. I want to talk a little bit about how this term has gone for me, what my thoughts are about the program, and what I'm looking forward to. And then I also want to tell y'all like what grades I got in my first term, because I don't know if I told y'all that. So I'll see y'all on the boat. Bye. As promised, I am here on the cruise ship, and I wanted to follow up with you guys and let you know a little bit about how my first semester went in the UF's online 2-year MBA program. I'm currently on the last day of my cruise. We're actually at sea. There's a big ocean behind you right now, so maybe I'll plug in a clip of that so y'all can see it. It's pretty beautiful. I have my notes on my phone per usual, so I might be looking down a little bit just so I don't forget anything. First thing I want to talk about is what classes did I take. So we have a 9-term program. There were 2 terms in the first semester. So for term 1, I took financial and managerial accounting, and I also took the economics of business decisions. In term 2, I took professional writing and introduction to managerial statistics. Although this is a fully asynchronous program, meaning you can take the assignments for the most part whenever you want before their deadline, or watch your lectures or read, each course has been formatted and structured a little bit differently, and I wanted to talk about that right now. Back to term 1, I had accounting and statistics. For accounting, we had weekly readings, lectures with embedded questions that you had to answer. They didn't have to be correct, just had to be completed, and then also homework assignments. In addition to the homework assignments, there were also practice assignments, many of which just mimicked some of the homework assignments. And if you were to have completed all of the practice assignments and gotten the full credit, you would have earned 3% extra credit points on top of whatever your final grade was. So for me, I don't believe I got 100% on all the homework or all the practice. Some of them I might have like just missed the deadline or didn't get it. So I got like 2.8 something percent at the end on top, which is how I ended up with the grade that I got, which I'll tell you what it is later. On top of all that, there were 2 exams. So one about midway through and one at the end. There was also a project in this class. You could have done it in a group of up to 3 people, or you could have done it individually. I did mine in a group. And there were also weekly standing office hours. The professor for this class was very by the book, very structured, and everything that was going to happen in this class, nothing was a surprise. It was all spelled out in her multi-page syllabus, and I really appreciated that. Overall, in this class, you're learning how to conduct financial analyses or accounting analyses, like reviewing a balance sheet or preparing a balance sheet, or looking at different financial transactions and trying to apply them to these different sheets, different documents, and making an assessment or a guess or answering a question about some of the information that's being presented. I found it very valuable. I've never done accounting before. I have a background in broadcast journalism, so I found this to be pretty interesting. It was tough though. It was a tough class, and she was very, again, by the book, but I find it to be very valuable, and I think regardless of what you go into, this is definitely a class that is worth it. Paired with econ though, it was a tough intro term. Okay, now let's talk about the structure of econ. Econ had weekly readings and lectures and homework assignments. There was a 1 week grace period for each of the assignments though, except for the final week, of course, because there's a cutoff end of the class. So if you didn't get it done immediately, you could be a little behind and be okay. I was definitely behind. I survived. At the end of the course, there was 1 exam, and then there were also 2 group projects which you would complete with the same group. This class was essentially about how to conduct marginal analysis to figure out how to maximize profits. That's how I would generalize it. All you want to do is find out how much you need to sell to get the most profit without, charging too much and your sales dropping off. And there are several ways that you go about doing that. I think this class was valuable, but I did a lot of YouTube University help in conjunction with the learnings and the teachings from the class. All right, let's talk about term 2 now. Term 2, we took statistics and professional writing. So for stats, we had 2 exams. We had readings and homework with assignments embedded. Some of the assignments you actually do need to get correct to get the points. Some of them you can just click through, but that's obviously not getting the best value out of your learning. And then we had lectures. Now, if you were on track with the program and did what was recommended, you would do that every week. But there was one deadline right before each exam for all those assignments to be turned in. And naturally, you should have done the readings and the lectures as well, but it's really just the assignments which are embedded in the book. This class, we didn't have any projects, and the professor did have weekly office hours, but he changed the day and the time from week to week, so you really had to be checking your Canvas and your email to know when that was going to be. With it changing week to week, I didn't get to go to many office hours live, but he was super responsive over email. I do remember that. This class was all about learning how to test different hypotheses of provided data and interpret the results of that test. So would you reject or accept the null hypothesis based on the p-value and its relationship to the significance level, which is alpha typically of 0.05. And then the last class I've taken so far as part of term 2 was professional writing. We had weekly readings, videos to watch, which were typically lectures, but sometimes they were other videos. And then we had weekly quizzes. There were no group projects, but there were peer reviews. So you would be assigned other students in your cohort and have to review their work and give at least 10 helpful pieces of feedback on their assignments. There was one major writing assignment at the end in addition to the quiz assignments, and then there were a couple of assignments which laddered up to that ultimate assignment. Overall, this class was about learning how to write clear, concise, and effective business communications by way of memo, email, and things of that nature. I found this to be valuable, especially if you don't typically write every day. It did help me brush up on my review and revision chops. It also helped me put into perspective thinking about my reader's time. So the person I want to read a piece of business communication, do they have 30 minutes to decipher a whole entire email, or how do I just give them the main pieces that they need to know to be successful? I'm about to get ready to go and hang out on the Lido deck. It's early afternoon and the party is getting ready to start. Ordinarily, I'd be going to sleep right now, but since it's the last day at sea, I figure we gotta get it going. So before I head out there, I want to wrap this up and tell you guys a few things that I've noticed in the program over my 2 terms and 1 semester thus far. First thing is this. Being in an online master's program is incredibly, surprisingly, extremely isolating. I also find that in the first term, when I was meeting with my group weekly to talk about group projects and talk about our homework assignments and making sure that we're all on the same page, when that went away in term 2, I didn't realize how much that would affect me, because having a group that I'm going to meet with every week, or knowing that you're going to go and have this scheduled time to meet with folks to talk about something, that makes you want to actually do the stuff, so you're not the only person who's left behind and doesn't know what's going on. Even though even still, I didn't know what was going on because I struggled with the material, I at least knew enough to try, or I felt more obligated than not. Besides my own reasons for wanting to do the program, I felt like I had people to be accountable to. So all of that is to say that when you're going through something alone, or when you feel like you're alone, or you feel like you don't have people in front of you to talk to because it's not an in-person program, you're not going to class every day and seeing these people, it is a little bit tricky when that happens. So on the flip side of that, I would say find some friends. If you're going to do this program or a similar one or in similar format, find some people that you can rely on and count on, or people who you can call, or people you can have a scheduled time once a week, or maybe every 2 weeks, or maybe even once a month to say, hey, we're going to meet and talk about this material, and just talk it through and just talk about the ideas we're discussing, talk about what we're learning. About 2 days before I was scheduled to take my stats exam, I had a study session with a group of classmates, and if they had not invited me to that study session, I frankly don't know what I would have done on that exam. It was all a blur. It was all gray. But after we talked about it, just speaking aloud and explaining some of the concepts aloud to another person who can also understand it, not just to your friends or family because they're not doing the material with you, but just explaining it aloud to another person helped me so incredibly, like you would not believe. Something else I'm noticing in the program is that I have to keep reminding myself that there are almost 80 people in this cohort. We have a group meet chat, but pretty regularly it's about the same 10 to 12, maybe 15 people talking, and then you'll have occasional folks jump in, but generally it's the same people talking, and I tend to forget that there are other people in the program who A, will never be active in group meet, B, probably forgot that we have it, C, are so busy and have other things going on, or D, just don't need it and choose to go through it alone. There's a lot of people in this program who you may not realize may want a study buddy or may want somebody to reach out to them or talk to them or call them, and so I think keep that in mind too. I told you guys what classes I took in term 1 and 2 that made up my first semester, and in term 3, which will kick off my second semester, I'm going to be taking financial management and problems and methods in marketing management. I'm really looking forward to each of these classes again, but I suspect I will have some challenges in both. I'm really looking forward to leaning on my newfound study group and hopefully finding some regular cadence of meetings so we can check in with one another and hold each other accountable. I'm also really looking forward to the ELOs. I don't know what the E stands for, but I know the second part is learning opportunities. I'm going to put it on the screen. Those are essentially different opportunities to get offline or get off campus, many of which are study abroad opportunities or study on a separate campus opportunities. I'm really excited to take one of those in the fall. I'm also really excited for some of the networking opportunities that they present to us. So there's something called MBA summits, and they're having a few of them next semester. There's going to be one in Houston in January, the weekend of MLK. There's going to be one in Atlanta, and then there's one, I believe, in April in Jacksonville, which unfortunately I'm not able to attend any of them just due to scheduling conflicts. I'm not going to go to any of those now, but I do want to talk to you guys about my networking experiences being in the program and talk about some of the opportunities there are and the methods through which you can network even while you are in an online program. If that's something of interest to you, let me know in the comments and I'll make sure to carve out some time for that video. And without further ado, as promised, I'm going to tell you guys what grades I got in my first semester. So in accounting, I managed to get an A-. I'm really pleased with that. In econ, I got a B+. I'm not mad at that at all. And as far as stats and professional writing, I don't know yet. So I'm going to add my grades right here in post. Thanks so much for hanging out with me on this cruise, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.